All right. Well, hello, everybody. This is Troy Fullwood with Pinnacle Investments and Generational Wealth Blueprint. And I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to stop by here and listen to what it is that I have to share with you about the current market trends that are going on in the U.S. today. One of the things that just happened to me was I was at a family Christmas function, and as I was sitting around talking to friends and family, and we were laughing and talking about what had happened this year and what we planned for the next year, I noticed a couple of people were just kind of hanging out, kind of quiet and somber. They weren't their usual bubbly self and engaging and jumping in and talking about all the amazing things that had been going on throughout this last year. And as I looked around, it was really kind of disheartening because I knew there was something wrong or something was bothering them, but I really didn't understand what it was until I literally approached them. I said, "Hey, how you doing? And what's going on?" And that's when we started having what I would call surface conversations, just like, "Oh, everything's fine, everything's good." But as I started to ask more questions, they opened up about what had happened to their fortune over literally the last 12 months and even as recently as the last, say, 4 weeks of this year. And it was shocking to hear how many of my relatives had put so much credibility into the stock market. And although I'm a fan of the stock market, I've got friends that work at the New York Stock Exchange and enjoy talking with them and on a regular basis. The one thing I've never quite understood about the stock market is why would you want to give your entire life savings to a group of people that really have their best interests at heart and not necessarily your best interests at heart? In other words, nobody cares more about your money than you do. That's just the bottom line truth behind it. And there's no other way to say that than to just say it. And it was something that I learned years ago when I was in the construction business and I was building a house. And I remember my neighbor coming over and I was getting frustrated with some of the subs and stuff like that. And he says, "You know, Troy, nobody's going to care more about this house than you will." I thought, wow, that's so true because that's everywhere around us. Now, that doesn't mean we have to be standoffish or rude or mean or any of those types of things, but we have to be conscious of this. And so to me, the stock market never made sense to give my money to somebody else and hope and pray that they would ultimately produce a return, a positive return that I could live off of or that I could, retire off of. And I'm not saying all stocks are bad. There are blue chip stocks, there are technology stocks and things like that. And therefore, I think there's a diversity of opportunity in that space. But I also think it requires constant attention. I think it requires constant monitoring. And that's one of the things that I took away from my conversation with my family members is they were constantly monitoring their stocks. They were jumping online every morning, was part of their morning ritual, seeing where the stocks were at, were they up, were they down, what was happening here, what was happening there. And therefore, their net worth was constantly doing this. And sometimes it went down into the red. And one of the takeaways that I learned back in 2006, 2007, 2008 timeframe was seeing, even back then, how much wealth was wiped out from people's pension plans and their 401ks and things of that nature. So as I sat there and I listened to the various scenarios and the various situations that had happened to people that I love, that I care about, I just sat there and counted my blessings. And I was grateful for what I had decided to do some 22 years ago. And taking a path that I would call the path less traveled, and investing outside of the stock market, investing outside of gold, outside of silver, outside of the Forex market and things of that nature, and really focusing in on investments that I can control, which means that I can then in turn control my future. both my income, my revenue stream, as well as my generational wealth that I plan on leaving to my wife and my children upon my passing. So I was grateful for that. And so I had an opportunity to share a lot more about what it is that Kim and I do and open up the eyes of people that we love and we care about. It's not that we haven't ever wanted to share with people. They just didn't ask. Really kind of funny. You could be in a family and they don't even ask what you do half the time. So it was really kind of eye-opening. But as I sat there and enjoyed our Christmas and we got to talking and sharing some ideas and things like that, I started diving deeper into this scenario and what was happening here in an economy that, by all intensive standards, is thriving. Okay, our economy is thriving. People are back to work. There are more people at work, jobs. People are earning more money. Hopefully people are saving more money. I don't think they are, but I think it's up by about 1%, which means we've gone from 2% savings to like 3% savings. But we still are using what I would call very antiquated models and rolling the dice on those models and moving forward and praying that those dice are going to come up in our favor, not only in the near future, but also in the distant future. And that we're going to be able to retire off of some kind of financial blessing that will come our way. As I started pulling back the layers of this onion, what I would call the income onion, what I started noticing first off, there was a lot of different ways that people could use that we're using to build wealth. Number one, they're investing in stock, investing in gold, investing in cryptocurrency, real estate, fix and flip, rentals, etc., Forex market, 401k, investing in bonds. This is just to name a few. I mean, there's a long laundry list of different opportunities out there for people to invest in. But one of the things that I noticed about the majority of these investings is that you were investing with other people. You were actually giving control of your money to other people. Okay, now real estate's a little bit different where you can kind of control that, but you can't control the market. You know, if you buy the house, you spend too much money on the house, then it doesn't cash flow like you thought it would, or you don't make as much money on the flip as you thought it would. So you really have to understand the real estate market in order to succeed in that space. And some people take the time to understand it, and some people don't. The point being is that all of these other things, stock, gold, cryptocurrency, Forex market, 401ks, investing in bonds, just to name, what I would call the top 6 or so methods that people use to create wealth, is all about giving your money to somebody else and then letting them control it for you. And they're making money off of it, and they're losing money as well. So your money goes up when it's good, and your money goes down when it's not good. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, if these are the methods that we're using to quote unquote make a living and to, I say, pad our retirement future, then looking at the average income that people are basically making across the board in the US. So I'm 53, so it says medium income $54,000 for a 53-year-old. And you can see that it kind of drops down. It's kind of weird, 54,000 for a 53-year-old, but 55,000 for a 54-year-old. So as you can see, this fluctuates quite a bit. And even in the 70-year-olds, okay, 70-year-olds making $72,000 a year. And I would say the majority of this here is probably retirement income of some kind, whether it's annuities, whether it's Social Security, whether it's pension plan, things like that. There are a lot of baby boomers in this. Basically, well, I'm at the tail end of a baby boomer. So you're talking baby boomers starting about age 55 and then on. And you can see the income kind of steadily goes up because a lot of baby boomers have, gotten on the corporate pension bandwagon and things of that nature, which is fantastic, I have an aunt that rocked that model. She did amazingly well at that model and earns a 6-figure a year income because of being in the corporate world. Actually, she worked in the government. So this is what we're working off of. So if you're making $54,000 a year, how do you grow your net worth given the, what I would call the standardized methods or the standardized tools that are often taught or given or pushed in our direction as people who are ultimately learning to invest their money? And when you look at these things that are pushed in our direction, like number one, you've got things like the stock market. Okay, what's going on with the stock market? Well, it's kind of an interesting model in itself, because now you see here at the beginning of 18, we're sitting right around 23,000, or I'm sorry, 24/7 looks like. And right now we're down to 23.1. Okay, so we've dropped 1,000 points, but from our high here of about 26.7, it seemed to get up there pretty substantially back in October. And it seems like it kind of flatlined for a little bit, and then it dropped drastically, then it went back up, and then it dropped, and then it went back up, and it's kind of gone up, down, up, down. But as you see this drop here, from here to here, and then it's bounced back a little bit over the last couple of days, you'll see where there's a huge amount of net worth in people's 401ks, their stocks, their stock certificates, their investment models that has been lost. And when I saw that, and I experienced that like firsthand, like from loved ones that I was enjoying the holiday season with, and we were talking and laughing, they weren't talking and laughing as much as everybody else was. Now, that's concerning to me, especially when I've got people, what I would call family members, who are potentially going to be in a position where they're going to start to, how you say, struggle a little bit. And we certainly don't wish that upon anybody, whether they're family members or not. But when you see it close to home, it's a different conversation, as it is in anybody's reality. So here's your stock market. So this is one method that they give us. But guess what? Who controls this? Not you, not me. So we don't have any control over this. We can buy and we can sell, and we can buy and we can sell, and that's our way of controlling it. But if you invest it up here and all of a sudden it drops down here, do you really sell? Or do you play the role of dollar cost averaging and go buy more and hope that that builds itself up? The next thing here, gold. Some people like gold. Gold back in late 2011, 2013, or 2012, we were getting $1,900 an ounce. That's fantastic. Now we're down to, right now, we're about $1,250 an ounce. So we've lost a pretty substantial amount of money in the gold market space. We've lost over $500 per ounce, and it doesn't seem like it's really going up anytime soon. Now it might run another spike. I remember when gold was about $180 an ounce, and it went from like that to like $400, and then it went from 400 to like 800, and it just kind of slowly kept creeping up and running strong. And you can see here back in 2009 to 2012, and that was a great run in gold. But ever since then, it's gone down. So if you're on this wave going up, congratulations, you did well. But if you're on this wave here going down, I'm sorry to hear that, but you probably have lost some money along the way. Now, I understand there's these little blips where you can buy here and you can go up here and you can sell and it can go up a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it drops down. I get all that. I'm not saying that those opportunities don't exist in small increments. What I'm saying, and what I want to talk to you guys about today, is investing in things that create longevity, so that when you're on vacation, when you're spending time with your family, when you're spending time with your children, or you're at work, for those of you that love to work and are still in that working, season of life, that you're not thinking about what in the world is going on with my investment over here, and who is looking after it, and are they looking out for me or just themselves? See, because I don't know many people that have time to watch this, or in turn watch this every single day, unless they're a full-time trader or they're a full-time Forex trader. And they go in there and they study the markets and they study the charts, and they have all these different technologies that they're going in there and manipulating their buys and their sells and all these other things. But it's a full-time job. I get it. And there are some people that love it. And I have friends that love it. They got a whole office of different video, monitors that they sit there, and it looks like a spaceship in their office. And they love it. And to me, it's like, this is just way too much data for me to sit here and take all this in and then to estimate what is going to happen down the road. And they lose money. They lose money. The goal is to win more than they lose, but they do lose money. So Bitcoin, one of the hottest trends in investing over probably in the last, I want to say at least 5 years, but it's certainly in the last 12 months. In December of 17, Bitcoin was almost all the way up to $1,900 a coin. And here it doesn't show that, but it shows close to 17,000 coin, 19,000 a coin. But now it's all the way back down to about $3,400 as of this recording. So if you had bought 5 years earlier at $1 a coin, and you rode this wave up here, God bless you. You did great. Congratulations. But if you bought here, you've been on a steady downward trend. It went up, and then it came down, then it went up, and then it came down, then it went up, and then it came down, then it went up, so on and so on and so on. That's no fun. It's no fun riding the roller coaster down. And you try and recover a little bit when it goes up, and you grab a little bit here and you grab a little bit there. But at the end of the day, is that really what you want to spend your time doing, is watching that 24/7 to see when you should get in and when you should get out? I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a cryptocurrency investor, but I'm a long-term cryptocurrency investor. I'm a buy-hold investor. I don't play it on a daily basis. I buy it, I put it off to the side, and I go on about my business. Matter of fact, Christmas Eve service, one of Kim's cousins turned to me and said, "Hey, did you buy Bitcoin Cash at $100 a coin?" I'm like, "No, I didn't pay any attention to it." Well, it jumped to $200. And it did in 5 days. It went from 100 to 200, 100% return. That's if you bought it at $100 a coin. He just asked me if I bought it. I said, no, I don't have time to focus on that stuff. It just takes too much energy to follow it every single day. And so I lost out on that opportunity, but we have our own investments and they're doing well. They're just sitting here slowly creeping along, doing their thing, which is exactly what I want them to do in the overall picture of building generational wealth. It's not money that I need today. It's money that I'm looking for down the road. And I've got 4 different methods that I'm using to create that. And the cryptocurrency investment just happens to be one, because I do believe in the technology. So I mentioned here a moment ago about the medium age income. So 53, making $54,000 a year makes you an average person in the income bracket. But if you're making in the top 1% at 53, you'd be making right around 300, looks like about $350,000, $375,000. So the question is, if you're sitting there at 54,000, how do you go from 54,000 to 375,000 to get in the top 1% if what you have available to you is constantly doing this? In other words, they tease you, everybody puts their money in as it's going this, and then all of a sudden the seesaw tips and it starts going down. Same thing happens on gold. Same thing happened in the stock market. It happens every single time. So how do you beat that? If that's what we've been told to invest in, and there are times where it works really well and we all get to be excited and we all get to look like the resident expert because we got in on a hot stock or a hot coin, or we bought gold at this level, we get to look like the resident expert. But then what happens when the tide turns? Because the tide will turn when it's outside of your control and it's outside of my control. It happens every time because we don't have a say in any of it. We just have a choice of being in or being out. At the end of the day, those are our 2 choices. Hey, if you don't like it, get out. It's basically what the stock market says. Hey, if you don't like losing money, take your money out. You don't like losing money in Bitcoin, take your money out. You don't like losing money in the gold, sell the gold. And that becomes our only, I say, method of defense. Or the next method is you keep buying on the cheap, hoping that the market goes back up and you can, I say, double cost or dollar cost average your way back out of it. But putting yourself in the top 1%, this gives you an idea. At age 27 to 31, you need to be about 175,000. 1% here at 32 to 36, you need to be a little bit over 200,000. Looks like about 210. 37 to 41, you need to, looks like about 275, maybe 300. 42 to 46, you got to be about 310, 325. And so on and so on and so on. Now, the question is, where do you fit into this model based on your age and based on the income that you're earning? Because I can guarantee you that these top 1% earners are not playing this market the way that the market's being played by the average income earner. I guarantee you they're not. These guys are playing it completely different. And that is always one of those concerning factors to me, is they're playing by a different set of rules than you're playing and that I'm playing. So the question is, how do you become a 1%er? How do you become a 1%er if everything you have available to invest in is always a moving target? Is the system rigged against the average person? And I would say that it kind of is. It gives us a little taste of the reward. It gives us a little taste of success. It gives us a little taste of dessert, or the, how do you say, sitting at the table. But the question is, do we get to sit at the table for an indefinite period of time? And why is it that they have a different set of rules than what you have and what I have? Becomes that number one question. Is the system rigged against the average person? And my answer to that is, it's not if you know what the 1% knows. So when I got started in this business 22 years ago, I started my journey from landscaper to Wall Street. And one of the things that was imperative to me was I saw myself as a landscaper working for a lot of very successful people. My niche was high-end residential and small commercial. I did a lot of McDonald's, Burger King's, Jack in the Box owners, small office complexes, medical buildings, churches, things like that. That was my niche. That was my, I say, avatar of client, my client avatar. And because I was involved in all that, I was constantly, I say, being mentored by very successful, wealthy people. Now, mind you, when I got started in landscaping, it was at the age of 17. And landscaping back then was a luxury item. Not every household wanted a landscaper. Matter of fact, very few of them did. It was a luxury item. It was something that somebody else, really had to understand the value of it. But I learned very quickly that being around very successful people and being mentored by very successful people had a different feeling about it. It had a different set of rules about it. It had a different environment about it. It required a different level of connection. It required a different version of me to be successful around them. But what I saw in them is I saw them being a very different entrepreneur than the average worker person, daydreamer, get rich quick model person. And because of that, I was able to learn a lot from very successful people, and ultimately ended up building out my career all the way to Wall Street, where I opened the first distressed asset fund on Wall Street back in 2007 with another partner. We, as you can see here, here's me inside the New York Stock Exchange, the ringing of the bell. I didn't ring the bell on this particular day, but you see the bell ceremony guest here. I happened to be there, and they got to correspond with a lot of people. And Kramer's studio is literally like, the photographer was standing in Kramer's studio. stock talk or something like that and taking a photograph of me. So pretty cool experience there, but I've developed a lot of relationships in that model and have learned a lot of things in there that I share with my, they say, tribe, my students on a regular basis. So I've been a note investor since 1996. I've done over 15,000 real estate note trades for a total of 1.6 billion in transactional history. 2015 Mortgage Investor of the Year by Wealth and Finance magazine. 2016 and 2017 best of the best in finance by Acquisitions International. It's a worldwide magazine that I was competing against people all over the world in regards to the best of the best in finance and the models that I built out. I have the number one best-selling real estate investor book on Amazon called The Power of Paper. We actually won this in 3 categories. I won it as in real estate investing, I won it in mortgages, and I also won it in ethics. Ethics being the one that I'm most proud of because I think it's imperative to operate with massive ethics. My family and I get to enjoy over 75 days a year of family vacation time because of what we've built here and what Kim and I have built. And this here is photographs from our most recent vacation, which was last month, where we went on a 8-day cruise and went saw the Princess Cays, Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica. There's my beautiful wife and 2 of my boys, Camden and Parker. Here's myself in Camden in Princess Cays throwing the football in the water. Here's the 3 of us in Jamaica, actually. Here we are, myself, my wife, Parker, Camden, and Colleen and Milt. These are some dear friends of ours that went on the cruise with us. And we had private dining inside the restaurant there, a steakhouse restaurant. We had a private dining experience, which was very, very cool. A lot of fun. Here's myself teaching my boys, showing my boys what it's all about, and then going out and teaching them. So pretty cool. We spend 75 days a year on vacation. And that's one of the things that I love most about what it is that we do. And some of the benefits that have come from what I've learned and what we've implemented that's outside of traditional investing model. But what motivated me to learn these things and what always, was driven into me was it was driven in me by a very, close and personal mentor. And that's my grandfather. And my grandfather always had keen words of wisdom. Now, mind you, this is a gentleman that was the founder of 2 banks. He was also one of the original investors in Enterprise Rent-A-Car and was very well connected in the political circuits back in the late 60s and early 70s and throughout the 70s with Goldwater and several other politicians. But he says, number 1, build a business that produces cash flow. And it was never specific on what kind of business because he felt like that was something that you had to embrace. That was something that you had to be passionate about. Number 2, invest first and spend later. Put your money to work for you. Even if it's a little bit, start putting your money to work for you and then spend later. Don't overspend, don't overextend. Number 3, learn to solve problems. Okay, learn to solve problems. Number 1, that's the key ingredient to being a successful entrepreneur, but it's also a key ingredient to solving and creating wealth on any level. Doesn't matter what space you're in, doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you can solve problems in that industry, then you will be tremendously successful. And rule number 4, focus on rules 1, 2, and 3, and rinse and repeat throughout your business career. As a young man, I grew up in a family of 9 different entrepreneurs. We had 9 different companies owned by my parents, owned by my grandparents, owned by aunts and uncles in a variety of different industries, everything from transportation to secretarial to office supplies to construction to excavation. It was pretty amazing, all the different varieties of businesses we were in. And it just flowed with what my grandfather said. He said, build a business. Make sure it produces cash flow. Invest first, spend later. He was adamant about it. You invest in your business, invest in what you're doing, invest in your future, spend things later. As a matter of fact, he was so adamant about that he bought a Ford Ranchero, 1972 Ford Ranchero, that he kept until the day that he died. And he died in 1992 is when he died. He actually died Christmas Day of 1992. That being said, he kept it, he bought it new, and he drove it till the day he died. And it was one of those things that he really, not only did he say it, not only did he talk it, but he lived it. So it wasn't a do as I say, not as I do. It was do as I say, and I'll do as I say. And he followed that out and role modeled that out for everybody in the family. And therefore, we always grew successful businesses because we were always very, disciplined about what we did. So a couple months ago, I took what I shared with you. I took and gathered a group of investors for a private live event here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And here's some photographs of it. And I got a group of people in the room, and I started breaking down exactly what it is that we do in the note investing space. Like how, setting aside all the get rich quick stuff, all the hype and all that other garbage, what does it take to actually succeed? Like, what does it take to actually grow? What does it take to actually build the business? And we sat in a closed door, private, live event that took place here at the Biltmore in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I broke it down step by step by step on how people, the average person, anybody, could actually take and apply what it is that I've done and actually succeed at a much faster pace than I have, because I've had to, transition my business from what I would call print media and things like that into the digital media world, which is what everybody else is doing right now. You don't even have to waste your time on what I learned 22 years ago, because it doesn't really apply today. And so I sat in this room and I told them, and I shared with them some key models that work very well in this business. Number one, the 3 C's: contacts, contracts, and closings. Contacts, you got to have marketing for your business. If you have marketing, your business will grow. You got to lock up the deal. In other words, you got to be able to lock down the deal in order to put it under contract so that you can turn that deal into profits and put money in the bank. So with all 3 of those pieces, then you have all the pieces to the pie to succeed at. Now, oftentimes people will teach just marketing, or they'll teach just the numbers in the business, or they'll teach just like the contract side, or they'll teach just scripts, or they'll teach the due diligence, and that's fine. But the truth is the entire picture is what's the most important part, is understanding all the ingredients that go into a deal. In other words, I don't want you to bake me a cake and all you use is flour and you don't put eggs or water or oil or any other ingredients in it, because that cake's going to be pretty terrible at the end of the day. It's not going to be a very good cake, and nobody's going to want to eat it. But if you know all the right ingredients, then you can bake a really good cake. You have a good shot at baking a really, really good cake. So in this method, or in this mastermind, or it wasn't even really a mastermind, it was just a group of 20 of us sitting in a room, and I said, here it is on the table. And so I labeled it my L4 method. I said, here's how you got to do. You got to produce and create a productive website. It's got to be robust. You got to be able to stand out in front of everybody else. You got to, in other words, I say capture your market. When I say your market, I'm talking your local market. I'm not talking on a national basis, but you can certainly do it on a national basis. But capture your local market. You got to have emails that get open. People still read emails. Matter of fact, you came to this webinar because of an email. Okay? So they work. But how do you get people to open those emails? What does that look like? How does that work? How do you deliver them? How does it get to the right inbox so they'll open it and then in turn come at it so that they'll read what it is that you want them to read. And then we developed and brought into it text messaging. So we've added another dimension to reaching out and marketing our business through text messaging. And because when you get a text message, no matter who that person is that gets a text message, 98% of text messages are responded to in like 3 minutes or less. And that's because they come to us in a very convenient fashion, AKA our cell phone. Then cold calling, an oldie but a goodie, but it scares the daylights out of most people. They don't want to get on the phone. They don't want to call somebody because they're afraid of what they may say or what they might not say, and they're going to make a mistake. Well, guess what? We put together an entire virtual assistant team that does that for us. So we don't even have to do it. It's not that I don't like doing those things, but my time is very valuable, as is yours. So at the end of the day, how do we leverage our time to achieve the maximum value possible? Well, we hire people to do it, but we hire the right people to do it. So I've trained up a team of people that actually do the calling for me. And so these are the things that I shared with this small private group of people here in Scottsdale. I said, guys, this is what I do. This is really what I do every single day. And these are the various pieces that go into it. Here's what my website looks like. Here's what we're changing on it. Here's what we just changed. Here's our results. Here's the emails I use. Here's the text messaging that we use. Here's the system that we use. Here's the cold calling team that we use. By the way, contact them. You can set up your own relationship with them, and they can call on your behalf as well. Not to mention, we got into where we get our leads from, our quality leads. Where do they come from? How do we lock them down? So on and so on and so on. It was such an incredible event that people walked away elated. And as a matter of fact, they left the event, and within like the first couple of weeks, we had over $4 million worth of deals on the table. $4 million worth of deals on the table. That's incredible, incredible. So the great thing about that is that because of the amount of deals that were on the table, they had two choices on what they wanted to do with those deals. They can either find them and flip them, or they wholesale them out, okay? And then they absolutely no cash. So they didn't have to buy the deals. They didn't have to buy the deals at all. They could wholesale them out to a bank or to me or somebody else and make anywhere from 3 to 6% on every deal, some a little bit higher. And some of them did do that. And then some of them said, no, Troy, I got my money. I got my IRA money. I got some savings account over here. I just sold a house over here. I got some equity over here. I want some extra cash over here. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so everybody, some of them decided, hey, I'm going to buy this for myself. It's like, okay, great. Buy it for yourself. Follow the method. Here's what we do. So they followed the method, and they started buying deals for themselves. Here's a case study of one of the deals that came into me, okay? And it's a deal out of California. And the sales price on this is $105,722. The down payment on it was $22,000. Current unpaid principal balance at the time of closing was $83,722. The interest rate on it was 9.4%, and the term on it was 120 months with a monthly payment of $1,078.64. Now, I contracted the note on this for $66,047.24. Okay, that's what we contracted the note for. I sold the deal to a bank for $71,000. So I wholesaled this deal out. Now, I specifically picked this case study because I know that several of you out there may not be in a position to actually buy deals today. I completely understand that. So I wanted to show you how you can wholesale a deal and still make a nice payday out of it. And so that's specifically why I picked this particular case study. And so I sold it to the bank for $71,000. My profit on this particular deal, on a wholesale deal, was $4,952.76. I have a total of less than 10 hours invested in this deal which basically breaks down to about $495 per hour on this one deal. Now, majority of my communication on this deal, I would say 95% of it was via email. I did get on the phone and talk to the seller in the very beginning. We talked about the deal and helped him put together the numbers on the deal and what the numbers would look like. Once we agreed upon it, myself, the seller, and the property buyer agreed on it. Then the documents were created and signed, and then we purchased them. So it was a simultaneous closing, newly created deal that we purchased from the closing. Pretty simple. So we created out of thin air a deal that ultimately turned around and produced a 14.51% yield for us, or actually for the investor. We could have kept it, and it would have kept it, would have created that kind of investment for ourselves. But here was the point. We wholesaled this because I wanted to share with you what that would look like. And you'll see here on 12/11 of 18, you'll see a wire for $4,952.76. Pretty cool. $4,952.76. So we received a wire, pretty simple. We have about 10 hours worth of time on this. As I mentioned, about $495 an hour. Now, going back to the average middle income earner, and I'm just going off of my age, being 53, so that person who's 53 would be making $54,000 a year. That's not $495 an hour. The average person works about, they say about 2,000 hours a year. It's like 2,080 hours a year. So divide that into 54,000, and that gives you what, about $40 an hour, basically. So this makes a little bit more money. This is what the 1%ers have figured out how to do. They figured out how to trade their time for bigger dollars at the end of the day. Very simply, they have figured out how to trade their time, the same amount of time that you have and I have, and every single day. They're trading it for bigger dollars. And they're doing it in a variety of ways. Don't get me wrong. This is one method that they're doing it. They're buying mortgage debt. Why do they buy mortgage debt? Because it pays well. It's really simple. You see, banks and institutions don't own real estate. They lend on real estate, but they don't own real estate. As a matter of fact, if you ever call an REO department or a loss mitigation department at a bank, they're not typically a very happy group of people. Why? Because that division of the bank is what's bleeding capital. It's sucking in all the losses. It's causing them pain in their profit column, day in and day out. They don't like doing foreclosures. And so therefore, they stay out of the brick and mortar side of the business. They sell that to the street level investors, which is okay because there's a lot of street level investors that do really well at that. But once again, they figured out a way to be in that top 1%er where they're trading their time, the same amount of time that you have and I have every single day, for more money per hour. And when you do that, not only can you build up the amount of income that you get today, but that gives you more income to create investments and put money to work for you to create generational wealth. To create generational wealth. See, the thing that I love about this is when you break this thing down, and I didn't break it down from the yield perspective, but from the yield perspective being 14.5% yield on this deal, at 14.5% yield, that's for the next 120 months. If they pay off early, my yield goes up. I make more money if they pay off early. Nowhere else in the history of investing does that happen. Does that happen? So therefore, when you understand those things and you look at it going, okay, how am I going to invest my time? Because you can invest your time in anything you choose to. Just like myself, just like my aunts and uncles and cousins, they can all invest their time however they see fit. But at the end of the day, how we invest our time is directly correlated to the amount of money that we have in our account. It's just that simple. So for the last 22 years, I've always been able to find mortgage deals, wholesale for quick cash. So far in 2018, I've optioned 57 deals for an average of $10,097 per deal, which equals $575,000 in wholesale income for 2018. So I'm way above that 1%, way above the 1%. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to boast. I'm not saying that for any other reason than just an example that given the fact that we now have technology, we now have the digital world at our fingertips, we can use those tools and resources to build, brand, and grow a business. Given the right leadership, the right guidance, and being pointed in the right direction with the right tools, anybody can do this. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it. And the fact that we're in an industry that's a $1.7 trillion industry, there's plenty of opportunity to go around for everybody involved. It doesn't have to be a big hidden secret anymore. It doesn't have to be some quiet little, private sector, closed door meeting for a couple of people to gain the most value out of it. Because I can guarantee you that private meeting that I had, as great as those people are, they're not going to make even a 1% dent in the $1.7 trillion marketplace. And I'm not saying they don't have the skill set to do it, and I'm not saying they don't have the opportunity to do it. But the fact is that the truth is that they will all figure out how much they want to get out of it, and they'll go get it. And then they're going to leave a whole bunch more for everybody else. For everybody else. And you can be that everybody else. You can go get your slice of the pie however you want it. The great thing about the business is we have two choices. We can wholesale deals, which is what I shared with you here, or we can buy deals, which is just the next step. And you can put your IRA money to work. You can put your checkbook IRA money. You can put your self-directed Roth IRA money. You can put your savings account money to work. You can put your home equity lines of credit money to work. You can put your money market accounts money to work. You can put whatever money you want to work. And therefore, you gain that benefit from it day in and day out. So after people found out that I was teaching what I was teaching to my clients, they became upset because they were not invited to the live event because it was a private event. And so I didn't invite the world to it, and I didn't want the world to be there. I wanted to sit in a room, a very intimate setting, and talk and share things with people who were truly, I say, motivated and interested about what was there and how they could change their financial future going forward. So the problem with that is once they found out, there was a lot of upset people. I got some not so, kind ewemails because I'd left some people out of the deal. And it wasn't intentional. It wasn't as though I wasn't picking on anybody. It was that I wanted the room to be intimate. I wanted only 20 people in the room, and I had 20 people in the room. And once it hit that number, it was done. It was over with. And so because of the number of emails, I did a second live event, but I did a live streaming event. Okay, a little bit different than a live event. I did a live streaming event, and I posted. And so I did a live streaming event. We had 45 people at the live streaming event, and we recorded all of the recordings. So it's all recorded, and I posted all of the recordings, the tools and the resources in a locked down private site for the recent attendees so that they could always go back and review them. If they happen to lose a tool or something like that, they could always go back and get another one, and that they would have a toolbox that they could always refer to as they were continuously building up their note business, their note wholesaling business. And I created this private lockdown site that's not you won't find it anywhere on the internet. It's not out there for the masses to find and things of that nature. And I did that on purpose because I'm not necessarily wanting to share this with the world. It doesn't mean that I don't want to share it with the world. It just means there's still only one of me and there's only one of Kim. And there's only so much that we can do. So we're very methodically opening the doors up to the opportunity We're opening them up, and then we're teaching people, and then we're opening them up, and then we're closing them down, then we're teaching people what and how to use that so they can grow their business, so that they can grow their wholesaling business, so that they can change the direction of their financial future and not have it depend upon the gold market, the Bitcoin market, or the stock market, or any other market that's outside of their control. But they can now take total control of their financial future and have somebody with a 22-year track record that's been to Wall Street, that understands what Wall Street's doing, that sees the inside workings of Wall Street, have that person, which is me, guide them every step of the way so that they can start succeeding. Here's the thing that I love about it, is that once the skill set is learned, once it's learned, nobody can take it away from you. It's one of the most famous quotes that my grandfather always said: go out and learn what it is you want to learn. Because once you learn it, nobody can ever take it away from you. They can take away your life faster than they can take away that knowledge. And that knowledge can be used to not only impact your personal life and your family, but it can also impact generations in your family, going outward more and more and more. Because it's just a really, really simple understanding of how money works. Most people don't succeed at money because they don't have a healthy relationship with money. They don't understand how it works. They think going to work for 40 hours a week and coming home and getting a paycheck is the model. But then they find out about 5 years into that model that really is not a great model, and therefore they become very disenchanted with it. And we're here to break that model. We're here to break that cycle and say, hey, stop doing that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have millions of dollars to be in this space, because you can learn it and you can earn and learn along the way by wholesaling deals. And then when the time is right, you can buy deals that meet your buying criteria and your buying threshold, because you'll have a pipeline of deals to pick from. That's a great model to choose from. And therefore, you can control your future. Nobody else has control of it but you. So here's how you can unlock your own very own copy of the event and fast track your own generational wealth blueprint for yours and your family's future. I've created an instant on-demand training. Okay, I took all the recordings, I posted it in a private site. It's all locked down, but it's in a training module setup. So it's walking people step by step by step through each step that they need to do, with a roadmap showing them, okay, do this first, do this second, do this third, do this fourth, do this fifth, do this sixth. And the great part about it is it's instantaneous. So when does this thing start? It starts today. It starts right now. Seriously, it starts right now. You can start changing where you're going and what you want to happen by simply making a decision and starting what it is you want to create today, like right now. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to be setting these things, New Year's resolutions, which are, by the way, ridiculous. Don't set New Year's resolutions. Set New Year's decisions. Decisions. Just make the decision and make the change and go for it. Because if you're thinking about it, chances are you don't like where you're at and you want something different anyways. So make the decision to go create something different. Don't set a resolution. Those are ridiculous. People break them all the time. But you make a decision, that's a whole different model altogether. Time, it's starting right now. Okay, it starts today. It starts here. It starts now for an entirely new direction and opportunity for you. Where? You can do it from the comfort of your home or your office, whatever you want to do. This is an opportunity to gain access to take control of your financial future by gaining access to the same tools and resources that I use every single day in my business to run an 8-figure note investing and wholesaling business. Okay, this is not about doing little things or trying to do this and trying to do that, and here's a little bit of the information. Oh, and by the way, you need to pay me more money to get this more information. No, I don't play the game that way. I play the game in, I tell you what you're going to get, you get that, and then you get more than that, because I always want to over-deliver in everything that I provide. And I do that by massive value and saying, okay, I'm going to guarantee you this, but I'm actually going to deliver this. And if you've ever followed me for any length of time and you've ever been to any of my trainings, you'll see that that's a very common feedback on every single form that we get feedback on. Troy over-delivers and massively over-delivers. And I do that because I want every question answered. I want every single opportunity to be exposed. I want every single person, what I call using best practices to succeed in the space. I don't do pie in the sky. I don't do hypothetical concepts. I don't do off the wall weird stuff that can only be used 0.0001% of the time. I don't do any of those things because that's not a model for success. What creates success is when you can apply something and that something has a mass appeal. It does. Does this industry have a mass appeal? Absolutely. $1.7 trillion in opportunity, and it's an untapped market. At the end of the day, we know where all the sellers are at because they're part of public record, and we cover that in the training. And those are part of the resources and tools that we give you so you can create your own blueprint. Keep in mind, once you learn it and once you know it, nobody can take it away from you. So your financial future will go in a completely different direction based on the effort that you put into it and how much you want to create from it. It's up to you. So day one, build and scale your business. What are investors and banks buying? Hey, if you're going to be wholesaling stuff, you better know what they're buying. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Number two, we're going to talk about the autopilot marketing method, the L4 method, how to create automated leads for life, okay, for life. The only time these things stop is when you turn off the system. When you turn off the system, that's when they'll stop. So that's your choice. You're in control of the on-off button when it comes to that. We're going to show you what websites work, how the texting works. Texting works. Look at that. Emails and calls. Okay. Who to put on your team. How to build out your team. We're going to even let you use our team. That's the coolest part about it. You get to use our team. So the same results we're getting, there's no reason you can't have the same results for yourself. Where's the capital? How to set up lines of credit to purchase notes for yourself. If you're interested in doing that, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. Would I run out and do it day one? Probably not. But you're going to have that in your Rolodex. And you're going to know where that's at and what that means and how you go about approaching it so you can create success from it when the time is right. I'm going to show you how to dominate your market. On the first day, I'm going to show you how to run an entire business by spending less than 10 hours a week to produce a 6-figure income from your laptop. Okay? Once all the pieces are in place, which are really easy to do, anybody can set up the entire model within 48 hours or less, and that's exactly why we set it up the way that we have, and we're teaching it the way that we have, because we don't want it to drag on for 2 or 3 or 4 months. The only reason it's going to drag on is if you're dragging it out. Really, that simple, because we're giving you our entire team. Our entire team. I'll show you how my $400 a month marketing budget has been working for the last 10 years, and yet every year I profit mid-6 figures in income just from wholesaling notes. That's just from wholesaling. It doesn't talk about the investing side of it and the buying side of it, because I want to teach you the wholesaling first. I'll teach you some of the buying side of it. It's really not that difficult, but not everybody's got hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in notes, and I respect that. And I don't want to be insulting to people that don't. But those that do, no big deal. It's just turn the page to the next chapter, and you can invest in those notes for yourself if that's where you're at. Day two, how to close deals for profit. We use a single-page smart contract that I've used for 20 years. It was drafted by an attorney friend of mine. It worked phenomenal. It's done extremely well for us over the years. It's protected us, it's protected the sellers, and it gets everybody engaged. So we have a smart contract that we use. We have a smart offer formula that helps us to close over 80% of the deals that come to us that are warm, hot deals ready to go. We have a way of presenting our offers to them that there's no ifs, ands, or buts as to whether or not they're actually going to benefit from our deal. My 10-day closing method, how we get a deal done in 10 days or less. Okay, there's a very step-by-step method on how to do that. And once you understand it, then you can apply it to every single deal that you're doing, where you can close deals faster, which just streamlines your entire business model, which ultimately puts more money in your pocket. Okay, how to build a team around you and to help you grow and increase your profits. Hell, you don't even have to grow your team. I'm going to give you my team. Like, here's my team, guys. Hey, help out these people. Help out these clients of mine. No problem, Troy. We got them. Great. Help them do what we're doing over here. Great, Troy. We got them. I'm actually opening up that door and saying, here you go. Now you can do the same exact thing that we're doing and not have to wonder whether or not you're going down the right path or not, because we're actually using the same players and the same members that you are. And yes, they're ramped up where they can handle a lot of people. How to get paid twice in a deal. Getting paid twice on a deal is one of those things that a lot of people don't really understand. Unfortunately, they miss out on future opportunities. 30-minute underwriting, the art of due diligence and time management, okay? How to get deals done, the due diligence side of it, how to do it quickly, how to understand what you're looking for, what's important, what's not important, what's your responsibility, what's the seller's responsibility, what's the buyer's responsibility. That way everybody is moving in the same direction. Because at the end of the day, nobody makes money until the deal's closed. So why not work together? Why not work together to get it done? Whether it's you, the bank, the seller, everybody's working for a common goal. Therefore, everybody should be working together. And 99.99% of the time, everybody is. But you got to kind of, drive that train. You got to point it in that direction. Who are the top 7 real note buyers that I work with when I wholesale? Okay, who are the top 7 banks, okay, in this country that actually buy notes? And they buy them at a really, really, really good price, so I can make a really, really, really good living from them, okay? The next 30 days, step-by-step guide to fast-tracking your business after the event. We actually done a map, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. No matter where you've gotten through the event, wherever you've gotten, okay, great, now go from there, go here, now go here, now go take it here, and go here and keep going. And therefore, you now have a reference sheet that you can follow that will set up your entire business in 48 hours or less. And if it takes longer than that, honestly, you're dragging your feet. So here's the thing. I'm so passionate about your success, and I want to see you succeed, that I'm going to give you 100 note holder leads. These are all first performing SFR properties in the U.S., okay? The average unpaid principal balance is $90,000. And just by simply closing one deal at that $90,000 UPB would net you approximately $4,500, okay? Plus or minus, but $4,500. That's one wholesale fee. That's 5 times more than the investment of being a part of this closed event, this private closed event. The value of that one bonus alone is worth $9,500. Why? Because I think you can do more than one. I think you can easily do 3 or 4 or 5 out of the 100 leads. But I'm just giving you worst case scenario, 1 lead. And then I'm saying, hey guys, you can at least do 2. That's only 2%. Bonus number 2, 2018 Note Buyer Directory. This is unlimited access to never-ending capital for your wholesale deals. You never have to worry about buyers. And this is a directory that I put together over the last 22 years. And I've identified the best of the best when it comes to buying notes, their pricing, their underwriting, their due diligence, their team, their systems. their paperwork, their closing, how they handle my customers, how they handle everything else going forward. I've picked out the best of the best so that it eliminates a lot of guesswork out of who you should work with, when should I work with this person, when should I work with that person, and eliminates all of that from this point forward. I've spent 22 years building this list. This is at least a value of $2,000. And you could go out and try and build this list on your own, and it's probably going to take you quite a bit of time because you're going to have to go through the experience of all these different so-called buyers who aren't going to, treat you the same way that this list of buyers are. Because these are institutions, these are banks, these are opening up the door to major players who have very deep pocketbooks that want to work with you and other investors out there. 2018 Capital Directory. This is where you want some capital. I'll show you where you can get some capital, some business lines of credit, things like that, lines of credit to buy notes. This is something that we've built and put together over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's worth $2,000 at least, because not all capital providers are created equal, and this gives you an opportunity to streamline your efforts to find the right things that work for you, and that's what we want. Bonus number 4, all the documents and paperwork that you'll need to lock down deals, including the smart contract, the smart offer formula, the note evaluation software, the due diligence software, the autopilot marketing software, our L4 software. That's got a value of over $3,000. And then I threw in a last minute bonus here, bonus number 5, our Mortgage Investor Pro. This training, okay, includes another 50 videos. I think it's actually 53 to be exact, of additional note investor training to help you dive even deeper into this amazing and profitable investing model. Okay, this is like another 50 videos. So you literally are getting 2 trainings for the price of 1. 2 trainings for the price of 1. And this is a whole nother training. It's 50 videos. They're all about 15, 20 minutes long. And I break down in just very bite-sized pieces all of these different aspects of our business, and deal reviews and all kinds of other additional bonuses that you can go through and you can review as you see fit. Total value of all the bonuses: 100 leads, $9,500, the note buyer directory, $2,000, the capital directory, $2,000, the contracts and software, over $3,000. And that's on the low side, because I know I've spent probably close to $7,000 just doing the contracts and things that are included in there, not the cost, and that doesn't even include the cost of what I've spent just, building out the different softwares that we use and that you now have for your viewing pleasure. And then Mortgage Investor Pro, value of $897. Total bonus value, total bonus value on this is $17,397. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. Generational Wealth Blueprint is a start now with my instant on-demand training. The investment is a one-time payment of $1,897. It's a one-time payment of $1,897. What I've decided to do for the next 13 people that register, I'll give you a credit of $1,000 towards your enrollment for a total investment of $897. And this includes the $17,397 in bonuses. Now, here's the beauty of it. You get all of the bonuses, $17,397. You get the live streaming event that we have put into a private site where you get instant access. So you get to start right now. You get to start today building out your business so that you can start wholesaling notes and buying notes to create generational wealth. I show you all the tools, all the resources, and I even give you access to my team. I give you access to my entire team that I use every single day. That you'll get immediate access to that team of people throughout the training. We disclose them. Okay, here's what we use for this step, and here's what we use for this step. You have complete access to our entire team so that you can produce the same exact results that we're producing. Why do I do that? Because we're part of a $1.7 trillion industry. I don't need $1.7 trillion to live out my life. I don't think most people do. Or I don't think most people are trying to accomplish that. So there's plenty to go around. It's a big pie to pick from. But the more people that we can help and share this knowledge with, then the more lives that we can change. And that life is yours. That life, you have that opportunity. Because once you learn the knowledge about how the business works, how the industry works, nobody can take it away from you. And you can apply it over and over and over again to build out as much or as little as you want to. I would hope it would be more on the much side and not on the little side, especially if you're trying to recover from this last market turn down, the stock market turn down, or the gold market, or the cryptocurrency, and build a platform that you can control. Stop giving your freedom and stop giving your money away to other people. Control your own money. Okay, control your own money. Okay, be responsible for it. Learn how to put it to work for you. Therefore, you get the benefit of it. And when you follow a system, when you follow a model that's been proven over and over and over and over again, now you've got a successful model that ultimately not only can you implement for your benefit today, but now you can teach your children and they can benefit from it as well. And you can start building out true generational wealth from the wholesaling side of it as well as from the investing side of it. For your friends, your families, your loved ones, it gives you that opportunity. And no, it's not fix and flip, and no, it's not rental properties, and no, it's not this, it's not that. Why? Because that's not what the big boys do. That's not what the 1%ers do. The 1%ers they're debt buyers. They're the JP Morgan Chases, the Wells Fargos of the world. That's who actually is the 1%ers. And I think we know that. We're like, what are they doing? Why is it that they're doing better than we are? When what they're doing is not necessarily a secret, it just hasn't been taught to you. And it has never been opened up to you. But now's that chance. I'm going to teach all those things to you because I've been part of that street level investor, and I've been all the way to Wall Street. And I still have relationships on Wall Street. I know exactly what they're doing, but I also know how to take what they're doing and scale it in a way where any person can apply it to their financial future and start scaling up their financial prosperity to the level that they see fit. So here's the beauty of it. You can register today. Actually, if you're watching this video, you're on our page. Go right below it. There's a link. You can click on the link, grab your spot, and once you grab your spot and pay, you're going to get an email from us, and we're going to shoot you over the link to get into the training where you can start learning immediately. You can ask questions, okay? No problem. If you got a question, no problem. There's a board where you can ask the questions ourselves. Kim and I will respond to those questions, as well as other students from time to time will respond as well. But you can ask questions because we're here to support you, okay? We're here to support you, okay? You get access to the training for an entire year. Okay, that's the cool part about it. You get access to the training for the entire year. Throughout that year, we're going to be responding to you through emails and things like that. Here's the beauty of it. You get a deal, you bring it to us. Guess what? You and I, let's close the deal together. Let's JV up on it, and I'll come in and buy the deal, and you'll make a bunch of money, and we'll get you closed because we want to see that happen for you. Okay, because we've got a lot invested in you. We want to see that success happen for you. So you can go to http://thethriving.investor.com/wealth. Register today. You save $1,000. That's the great part about it. You can go right below this video. There's a link right there to grab your copy of it as well. It includes all the bonuses. It includes all the contracts. It includes our entire team. I'm introducing you to our entire team. We don't have like a private team, and then we give you guys a different team. No. This is our team that we work with, and they're going to work with you as well to help you grow your business. Here's some testimonials from the live event. This is from the live streaming event. Okay, I didn't have time to put up the other testimonials from the prior event, but from the live streaming event, real world information presented by a professional who's doing the business. Okay, the program exposes you to information and tools that even an experienced investor would benefit from. Bart T, expert investor from South Daytona, Florida. The generational wealth training provides solid, actionable steps to implement in your note investing business. Alyssa G from Tampa, Florida. If you're seeking a clear path to success in notes, join Troy Fullwood. Don't know if they can say it any simpler. Michael K from West Caldwell, New Jersey. If you really want to make things happen, then this would be the way to go. Let your business work for you instead of you working for your business. Wilson M from New York City. Once again, grab your spot. You can register now at http://thethriving.investor.com/wealth. Okay? It's an instant, on-demand training. You register today, you start today, you start learning today, you start taking steps today, you start growing your income today, you start moving in the direction of creating generational wealth today, you start changing the financial future of your family today, you start changing the financial future of not only you personally, but not only of your family, but the generations. Because now you learn a skill set, you learn a skill and a financial model that actually works, okay? That actually works. And you can pass that on and you can teach that to your friends and family members. We want that to happen, okay? It's a $1.7 trillion industry. There's plenty of pie to go around for everybody. There's plenty of pie to go around for everybody. So grab your piece of the pie by grabbing your spot at http://thethriving.investor.com/wealth. Or make it easy on yourself. Just go right below this video, click on the link, grab your spot. Once we get your registration notice, we'll send you over the link to get you started today. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me. I want to be respectful of that, and I wanted to keep this as short as humanly possible. We covered a ton of stuff in today's training, and for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you take the time out of your day to spend it with me. So hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. Take care. God bless. Bye now.